Hi, so this is me on the latest episode of my podcast. I'm Divyanshu Negi and I am building my own portfolio of apps in 2024. I left my job last year, and this is my kind of accountability podcast, which I do create to share what I have done, how much progress I have made in my projects, and also share some of like tech news, AI news, which I'm interested in. And today I have chosen a very interesting topic that is about Devin AI. Devin AI, like I've been reading a lot, listening to a lot of people, talking to a lot of my friends, and everyone has this question: Is Devin AI going to take over the software engineering job, or not just Devin AI, but in general? Like, is AI going to replace software engineers in the coming future? By future, they mean like in next 2 3 years. So there are students who are still in college, or students who are still in boot camps, who are learning programming or coding, and they are not sure like what to do now. Like, should they continue it if in 5 years AI is going to take over everything and will not need coders? And I think after getting or reading or even of my own personal experiences, I have this understanding of where this trend might be going and what's happening tech in like what's happening in the industry. I'll be sharing some of my own personal anecdotes on this and couple of interesting informations which I found online. So yeah, let's start it. If you are listening it as a podcast, I would highly suggest increase the speed to 1.5x. That will help you a lot in getting a lot of information in less amount of time, because I do not speak very fast, so that will help. Cool. So first, we'll go through the progress which I have made in my project. So as I'm already sharing in most of my previous episodes that I'm building this note-taking app, and last week we spent most of the time in getting the like checking the water, like how many competitors are there, what kind of keywords we can target our app in, what could be the title, description, and all of those things. This week, uh, not much progress have been made. Why? Because I'm in my home, and secondly, it's a holy festival season. So this whole week was spent either in family reunions, moving here and there, traveling. So a lot of things have happened. So, but still, I did manage a lot of work on the Mac app which I'm building. And secondly, I've created a Xcode project for my note-taking app, plus some basic mockups. So basic mockups I'll be sharing in the next episode what they are, and also be sharing my whole Xcode project and showing you a very basic onboarding and the dashboard pages. I am currently just working on the front end, and I was hoping to release everything within 3 weeks since we discussed it last week. But I'm thinking it would take a bit more time because I want to make it a little bit better. Not going for a perfectionist way, like everything has to be very perfect, but still thinking like 2 3 features which I personally need should be there so that I can start using it as a daily driver for myself before even launching it. I'll be inviting anyone who is interested. But yeah, so far that's the progress. Just basic front end project in Xcode has been created, and all the content or copywriting has already happened. And regarding the name, I have still not finalized it. Once I finalize it, I'll buy a domain and I'll just also be creating a landing page. I'll also show you how I generally create landing page. It's very simple process I have learned in the past couple of projects, and yeah, we'll be going through that in the podcast. So that's about it. That's about the progress I've made in my project. Secondly, which I want to discuss is Devin AI, right? That's the most interesting topic, and I think it could be a little bit bigger to discuss all of that. So if you don't know what Devin AI is, let's directly go here, or I can just show you this Devin AI demo, right? So this is the demo for Devin. We'll reduce the voice. He's the founder of the Devin AI team, which is known as Cognition AI, and they have built this first AI software engineer. Right. So what it can do, you ask something to Devin AI, and then okay, they are asking it something, and then Devin AI first of all it plans like what it needs to do, so it breaks down everything into steps. Very cool stuff, not new. All the auto GPT or uh, any such agent kind of tools were already doing this. The new thing with Devin AI is it has its own browser. As you can see in the bottom, there is a browser which Devin AI can use by itself. Second, it has its own terminal, so on a personal computer where it can run terminal commands, which is very helpful when it is a software engineer. And third, it has access to IDE, which is VS Code web version, and it's doing all of those things by itself. So they have asked it to build some APIs. It's going reading the documentations because it can go to the web browser. It knows which search to make in Google, go to the page, find what content is there, and then write those terminal commands, try to run the projects, get stuck in some kind of an error, and then it can move, fix those errors, and it's a very, very interesting like demo. Super interesting. Second thing they are telling us in this marketing campaign, because well, nobody has access to it publicly. So they are saying it can solve 13.86%, which is almost like 14% of GitHub issues. Now, I don't know if I have not done my research properly, but I did not find what kind of issues it can solve. Can it just solve very rudimentary issues, just syntax errors, some semicolons missing, commas missing, some readme file updates, so those kind of issues? Or it can really, like issue can be, for example, I was building this Electron app and I found out like the newest versions does not work with one of the API they have. And in the discussion thread, I found out this issue is quite major and it needs an overhaul, native programming to be done to implement that in the latest version, because macOS has updated their some APIs internally, right? Can it solve that? I really doubt. So we also do not know what kind of issues they are solving with this 14%. But the interesting thing is, coming from like GPT-4, which can only solve 3%, to Claude 2 or even Claude 3, which can solve like 5-6%, the jump of 14% is huge. So within a year, we are watching this 5% to 14% jump. This is the most interesting thing to me, not the 13.4 or 14%. That's not super interesting. That's, again, we don't know what kind of issues they are solving, right? Anyone can make these graphs and bar charts by manipulating any kind of data. So we do not want to go there. But that, yes, the interesting thing is the huge jump we have made in this AI tech within a year. And we do not know where it's going in the next 5 years. That's what generally people are scared for. Like if it can jump from 5 to 14% within a year, what will it do in next 5 years? That's how, as humans, we project futures, like watching at current data and predicting the next future. Interesting, right? Very, very interesting. And my opinion on this. So it has access to its own browser, its own IDE. Just one curiously, I was thinking about this problem. I have worked with Firebase a lot, right? And generally, I do not give my Firebase account access to any contractor or any junior developer I work with. Why? Because I have had one issue long back where I gave access to build a Next.js app to one of the contractor I was working with. He was a really good, like 5-6 years of experience engineer. He was very good at React, and he wrote some hooks in which was a bit complex project. There he wrote one bug which was infinitely rendering my production and calling my Firestore database. So the read was happening every second. There were like 1,000 reads were happening from one web page, and I had like 100 users on my web page. So I was calling like 1 million or 2 million reads per minute, something like that. And this, I quickly knew about this bug because I got to my dashboard, I got an alert. We quickly went to the page. I myself removed that piece of code and updated it, and that's how I fixed the problem. Now instead of the junior developer, let's put a Devin, right? And Devin is writing code. I don't know what the quality of the code is, or I don't know how complex the code is. Can I even understand it? Like, I am a very average coder. Can I understand what Devin AI has written? Because Devin AI would be like a super engineer, right? And if it creates that kind of bug, can I go quickly and update those kind of fix those kind of issues. Can I? So the major issue is, can I trust Devin AI to do all of those things? First of all, I do not believe like I can give a command to Devin AI and it can build everything for me like I would to a junior developer. For junior developer, I discuss like in a 1 hour meeting. I can tell him this is what I want. These are the Figma designs. Just give it to me in the next 2 weeks, and I have the project ready. Can I do the same thing with Devin AI? Can I just have a meeting with him, maybe a chat meeting with the prompts, and have the thing ready within 2 weeks? What are the complications? How good the project will be? What will be the updates shared? These are all the issues which I think will are still not clear to any one of us, right? And I was listening to a very interesting podcast by a very senior engineer, and he mentioned like this is not new. Like when there is something new launched and people start saying, "Hey, now there will be no programmer in the next 5 years." He said, "Do you know when was the last time this kind of hoax was released in the market?" And I thought like it could be like 2004, 2008, 2010 or something. He said this was mentioned in 1978. In 1978, the machines were getting so advanced, computer machines, from the previous generation. So they were like, there will be no programmers needed. But what happened, we all know, right? And then computers had zero creativity. In 1990s, there was zero creativity. In 2000, zero creativity. And even 2024, computers still have zero creativity. What we see that ChatGPT can reply to us or Devin AI can do all these things, these are not creative tasks. These are still LLM, large language models, which are built using GPT, which is basically a prediction engine to predict the next best word. So when I listen to anyone like Elon Musk or any huge influencer in the tech industry saying we have an AGI coming in few years, and then I listen to these guys who are really that old, like they are coding or teaching Python since like last 25, 30 years, and they know inside out of the whole computers, they know inside out of the whole AI fundamentals. And when they say that this is basically this has zero creativity, it just predicts the best thing because it's trained in such a manner, then I don't think there is any creativity. Even still, what I did an experiment where I thought, okay, let's write a novel. So ChatGPT or Claude 3 gave me very good suggestions, very, very good suggestions on what to write, but all those suggestions seemed like a scene from a novel I have already read, or they already exist, or a scene from a movie. Why? Because it has been trained on that data. It cannot come up with a it cannot come up with its own Game of Thrones or its own Harry Potter, because that will not be Game of Thrones, or that will not be Harry Potter, that would be something else. But AI can't do that because they have not been trained. And another good example, which again that person gave, was, let's suppose we have a huge GPU right now and we have a machine which can take us back to the past. So we go to 2000, year 2000, and we we run that machine, it boots up, and we load that LLM model which we have, like maybe a 70 billion or 130 billion parameters model, which is ChatGPT 4 or Claude 3 or any latest model, or maybe a second generation or more like sixth, eighth generation model. We run it in that machine in 2000, and it is only trained on the data till 2000. It does not know what happened from 2000 to 2024 because we have moved to the past. And now we write a prompt, hey, tell me how to build a drone. Will the GPT or that LLM be able to build a drone? It cannot, because it does not have the data of the real physical world where the real scientists or real engineers did all the simulations, did all the experiments, and found out the inertia engineering and how the spatial engineering they did to build a drone. Now the drone tech is so easy that you can buy a drone in like 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees in the market in any shop, versus if you go to in year 2000, you cannot, like LLM cannot even give you a very basics of how that drone would work because it does not know about that tech. So this was very insightful to me, like, okay, so this is the fundamental problem. It cannot be creative. It cannot build things by its own. And then we are thinking, okay, so software engineering jobs are going. If you are a really good software engineers need a lot of creativity. If you have that kind of creativity, if you are interested to build things and you find these creative ideas, AI cannot ever beat you on that. Not till the technology is like this, what it is today. It can improve, it can fundamentally change from these prediction models to maybe more creative models, but as of now, there is no creativity. There is zero creativity. These are just uh, building blocks which you give to a child and they just put them on top of each other. It's at that stage, at that nascent stage, current stage of AI basically. And the another point was, okay, so there are like AI lawyers. uh, AI has already passed the bar exams. AI can do become a best lawyer right now. Are the lawyers missing from the market still? And I don't even think they will be missing in the next 4 5 years or 10 years, because again, like person in law industry is not just a person who knows the books and they just quote phrases from those books. They have that understanding that they can clear the exams. There's a lot of conversation involved. There's a lot of creativity involved to understand the nuances of each and individual case and fighting on those grounds. Knowing your uh, content or knowledge is one thing, but applying that in a very creative way is a very different thing. In my opinion, if you become like an experienced engineer, then the problem is not just of coding. Coding is merely like, as I said already, it's like 10 or 20% of your task. Let me give you one example from my own personal life. So when I started, the first dollar which I made online was, I went to freelancer.com and I was just looking for jobs in JavaScript. I found someone posted a job in JavaScript that he has a script which has a bug and he needs to fix that. He has written some vague stuff or vague paragraph about what the issue is he's facing in his web app. And I applied there. I did not know what the problem was, but I just applied. I wrote a very big message that okay, I can fix it. I have this. I'm an engineering student. I have done this. I don't know why, but he gave it to me. Maybe I bid the lowest there, and it was a 45 Canadian dollars issue. And as he gave it to me, I had zero clue what to do. I just started looking into it. I just asked messages like, hey, what the actual issue is, because I could not understand what you have written and I need to know a little bit more. He said, hey, see, you see, when I click on this button, the menu is opening, but then the button is also overlapping that menu after like 2 seconds because of the animation. And again, I got like so frustrated by myself because I had no idea how to solve that, and I was not that experienced in that code. But what I said to him, like he said, okay, I'm sleeping because it's late at his time zone, and I was in India. So I said, okay, I'll look into it. I looked into it for next 18 hours or maybe like 14, 15 hours. And what I did was I Googled, I did Stack Overflow, I went everywhere possible. And finally, with just 2 3 lines of tweaking, the solution was there and it was fixed. And he was super happy. He gave me 5 star, he gave me $45. I think in my coding life, that was like the best day of my life. I earned my first 45 Canadian dollars from internet by doing something with my computer. Now, why I am telling this story is because Devin AI, the team, has also mentioned that Devin AI has taken jobs in Upwork. So these kind of jobs, which just require one line change, a small bug, 110% are going to be eliminated from internet. AI will fix them locally in your machine. Nobody will have these kind of issues where I don't even know what the issue was, but it's basically some kind of like some code was running before and it should have run below. So I just moved one line below and it fixed. These jobs are gone. These jobs are gone way long before Devin AI. These jobs are gone since LLM GPT 3.5 was launched. because you just share a code and say, hey, there is a bug in this code and I'm facing this issue. GPT-4 can predict very well, okay, this line doesn't seem right, and it will just tell you this, move this line below. Now, similarly, Devin AI will take all of these jobs, but software engineering is not just coding like this. Software engineering requires you to build fix a subset of problems, and some of the problems uh, are real world people communication problems, where you solve real human problems by just communicating with them. By a senior software engineer rejects a lot of time what project manager is saying, because project managers does not know a lot of tech, so they might come up with very very vague problem statements, which only a senior software engineer can say, hey, I don't think this will work out, and will not do this. Whereas an AI, which is like Devin AI, would always go into building that thing, and then it will become a big problem for you to manage, and maybe you will just keep running on loops because that problem was not worth solving from the first go. So if everything is done by people who does not understand tech or who does not know how things work, and they just rely 100% of AI because there is no software engineer now, then, well, things will not work out the way we think it is. So if you think when is the right time to learn coding, it is right now. If you are into the world of software engineering, this is the time to excel it. These AI tools are not the enemies. Like, we are, as a human, we are not fighting, or as a software engineer, we are not fighting with them. These are, you think of it as like it's a horse and you are running on your feet. So right now you're running in your feet to reach somewhere. Now people are saying, hey, now horse will be there, so no human required because human runs on feet. It's not like that. Horse can run in any directions. They need a person who knows how to run in a direction, in a proper direction, and how to give a direction. Now you'll be running much faster because now you are sitting on a horse, which is an AI, which is Devin AI. So sit on the horse, take the command, and, well, that's the best time. In my opinion, it's the best time to build things. You can be a 10x or 100x engineer. If you are an engineer who just came into this market just because, well, software engineering is lucrative, people get $100K jobs by doing just mere 2 months of boot camp. If you think that was your main motivation to be in this industry, those days are over. You will need to be a 10x or a 100x engineer. You will have to handle not just coding, you will need to handle the whole product development cycle. You have to come up with creative solutions, creative ideas. You have to be a product manager by yourself. So be a self-motivated software engineer because you want to solve software problems, not just an engineer. This is my opinion on this. And yeah, again, the next point which I want to touch on was like which kind of jobs will really be affected. In my opinion, because I have worked with the whole set of engineering teams, I have worked with testers, with DevOps engineers, with people who just are into monitoring the systems, and the backend engineers, front end, game developers, all of those. So the jobs which are mostly affected will be majorly testing. So testing jobs, if you are a manual tester, your job is at a high risk of getting eliminated from the industry. No human will be required to do manual testing. Uh, Computers or GPT vision can see or click at places. It can it has a very good understanding. Even it can find where to click, where bug can come up with. So it can come up with its own test cases. A human can only click for like 8 hours a day and maybe 3-4 hours if you are really serious, or it can click on multiple places and can just test in those 3-4 hours of window. ChatGPT can do it whole night for 24 hours. And I know a couple of products in YC batch or even out there, SaaS tools, which are providing this service already. And so, yeah, testing jobs are gone, will be gone, or are they already gone? I'm not sure. So, and DevOps, again, there are DevOps tools which are coming to look into monitoring and they will restart your system. They'll give you suggestions on how to scale your services, how to properly scale down them. If you just have a backend engineer in your team, it can do DevOps and the monitoring and everything with the help of AI. So AI will make one backend engineer into 2 or 3 engineers now with the same bandwidth they have already. Which jobs are 100% safe in my opinion is general software engineering is completely safe. If you are passionate about this industry, if you really like sitting in front of computer for 5, 6, 7 or 8 hours, and if you're comfortable with that and you like to solve such problems, build tools to help yourself or help other people, it's the golden era in my opinion. Front-end engineers jobs are 100% safe. Their job will be much faster, so now you will be building at a speed which was not ever seen before. So it's really good. And game developers jobs is always fine because game development is such a creative task. I have built a game by myself. I have worked with game developers, and I know personal indie game developers how creative this industry is, like how much creativity is required, and current standards of AI is nowhere near. And with the fundamentals of what it is built on, I really doubt we will ever reach that. So only humans can really create those entertaining elements. Any job which requires huge amount of creativity or even basic amount of creativity is completely fine. The only question you have to ask yourself is, again, as I said, ask why are you into software engineering? If the motivation is, again, the high paycheck with least amount of work, those days are gone. The bubble has already burst, and so it's time to find another domain. In my personal opinion, I did not started working as a software engineer because I found, okay, I can do X, Y, Z, and coding is the thing which is giving me the most moat here, or most money. That was not the case for me. I chose because I found out, okay, I code and I can also earn. That was a advantage benefit that I can earn in this industry. That's why I started doing software engineering. Because if I would not be paid, I would still be doing software engineering. It was that kind of relation with this. And I don't know, because I just love spending time in front of the computer. That was the main motivation. So if you have that motivation, golden time, go for it. And yeah, that's what I had to share with about Devin AI. I had a lot of other interesting anecdotal topics to discuss, but I think it will be too huge to talk about them right now. So yeah, I'll wrap this up here. I hope this was a little bit interesting to you, anyone of you who was listening and wanted to know what's happening in the world of AI. Cool. So this was day 8. I will see you guys again in the next episode, and hopefully I'll be moving back to Goa by the next episode when I build. Let's see. Again, thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.